Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Media Pending Podcast.
My name is Jason, and I'm joined today on this very spooky episode with my co-host, Aidan Pocock. Hello, welcome to spooky season.
Woo! It's spooky.
Yes, indeed. Very spooky. We've got the Halloween lights in the back. We've got the pumpkin Pokemon Pumpkaboo next to some LED candles and a skull. Show and tell is happening, I guess. I've got these Cadbury harvest eggs because, you know, it's spooky season. The air's getting crispy. We also had some snow up here recently, which is like...
In Logan?
What? Yeah. Just in the mountains. So it was beautiful because, like... You had these beautiful fall leaves on the side of the mountain with like a crown of white frost. It was glorious.
That's gonna be really weird this year to like not be there in Logan when all of the snow and stuff is going on, because I've always been there.
As long as you can remember, huh?
The last 3 years. It is actually. It's weird to think that I've been in Logan for so long, and this is gonna be my first Christmas in a while.
Christmas? Sir, we're talking about Halloween today.
Oh yeah, of course.
What are you? Why would you?
You were
think
talking about
Christmas?
snow. You were talking about snow. So
I said the air's getting crispy and spooky. We even had some snow.
But you said snow, and then I was thinking about the winter season with the snow.
Okay.
I know that we're talking about Halloween, but I just went a little bit farther into the year. This is also going to be my first Halloween, but let's face it, I never did much for Halloween up in Logan anyway.
No. Anyway, do you have anything for show and tell before we get into talking about Halloween? I also might need to re-record the intro because...
I don't think you can really understand me very well with the voice disguiser.
I mean, I can understand everything you're saying. It just is
okay.
It's a question of whether or not it's going to pick up. You'll just have to
Anyway.
you'll just have to listen to the recording, and you might have to dub it over. Show and tell. I've got some spooky like web material that we use to string up. You can see there's bats in the background. We've got some pumpkins and stuff. I've got a cat coming in to the room.
Delightful.
But yeah, that's about it. So Halloween, it's a fun holiday. I really enjoy Halloween. It's not my favorite holiday though.
No, it's not my favorite either, but apparently it's a bigger deal where we live than pretty much anywhere else in the country from what I understand. Like Utah goes harder on like Halloween decorations and trick-or-treating than most places from my understanding. And I think that might be in part because historically you've had a very large child population, and so trick-or-treating, accommodating all that good stuff.
I've heard that trick-or-treating has been going down in recent years. Like I've heard that like not as many people go trick-or-treating anymore. It's like it's a dying tradition, which really breaks my heart. But I have seen so many crazy Halloween decorations this year, and I don't know who sent out the memo, but have you seen those like giant skeletons anywhere?
Oh yeah, they've been popping up everywhere.
Yeah, why does everyone have them this year? Like did like they like go? Is there like a massive sale on them, or like
I don't know, because it used to be a meme because they were super expensive, and it was like a sign of wealth to have this 12-foot skeleton in your yard.
I've seen probably like 8 different houses with the giant skeletons, and there's different variations of them too. Like
there are a couple on Center Street actually here in Logan.
Yeah, I think that's just a new thing this year, but
yeah. So Halloween, how was that for you as a kid and growing up? Because like it was never the biggest holiday for me, and it's like not an official holiday. You don't get time off for it or anything, but it was still a pretty big deal for elementary school age Jason.
No, I enjoyed it a lot more when I was younger. I really liked Halloween when I was a kid. Dressing up was always really fun. Now it's just expensive. It's like, do I really
It's
want to?
cosplay at
It's
this
like,
point.
yeah, it's like, do I really want to spend like $50 to like order? Well, I don't know if we're gonna do this anymore, but Katie and I were thinking about going as Anakin and Padme for
Oh,
Halloween, but it was mostly because I had the longer hair, and
yeah.
so I was like, I think I can pull off like Episode 3 Anakin, especially. I was like, my hair will be even longer by then, but then I decided to cut it. So, but like,
I remember you guys were gonna invite everyone to a themed
wait, let me
party
tell
and
that
just tell
story.
every. Okay, go ahead.
Oh my gosh, this was the funniest bit, but it never went through because we were just too late. But so we were. Did we invite you? Did we invite you to this and then tell you about it afterwards? Because I feel
No,
like
you told me the bit before and then invited
I
us.
swear there were people we invited that we didn't tell the bit to, but then it just ended up falling through, so it didn't matter. But we were gonna do a Mario Party themed Halloween thing. We were gonna try to get this big Halloween party, and we were all gonna be Mario characters, and we were gonna like coordinate with people. And so the bit was that I was gonna reach out and say, like, hey, we're doing Mario themed characters. Are you good to come as Luigi? And the joke was that everyone was just gonna show up as Luigi. And it was not going to be a Mario party. It was just going to be everybody as Luigi, and then it just fell through.
That would have been so funny though.
Yeah, I know. Problem was just time, money, coordination, and lack of friends. So there were just a couple factors, but
Just a couple.
yeah, no, that I remember that. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more when I was younger because it felt so much more feasible. Because it's like, what do you want to go as for Halloween? You getting a phone call?
I am.
Oh.
I don't recognize the numbers, so we're just putting it.
You could just put your phone on silent when you're in a podcast,
You
for
know, I
future
woke
reference.
up 30 minutes before our podcast.
Well, that's fair. But as I was saying, when you're a kid, you just say, "Hey, Mom, I want to go as this for Halloween," and then she takes care of it, and you get the costume. And well, some people, I don't know, but that's not how it works for me anymore. And so I just don't like spending. I don't like spending money on myself in general because I'm in a stage of life where over half of my paycheck usually goes towards rent. So I don't really like to just be spending it on stuff that I don't need to. So yeah, I don't know. It makes Halloween harder for me. But as a kid, I loved it. And I think one of the cool things about Halloween is it's a holiday for every generation. I mean, kids, you go trick-or-treating. Teenagers and college students, you've got, and I guess, early 20s, mid 30s, you've got like Halloween parties that are a huge thing. Like, and then when you're an adult, you get to sit at the front door and hand out candy,
Yeah.
which sounds boring to some people, but I think it'd be fun. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it could be fun. We have in my family a couple of Halloween traditions, and I don't remember how they got started. But we would go get like Papa Murphy's take and bake pizza, and we would have that for dinner on Halloween.
I hate Papa Murphy's.
Really? They've got some good stuff.
No, the under crust is always soggy.
You might not be making it right then, man, because I don't have that problem.
We just got one probably like less than 2 months ago. My dad had one, and they were like, for extra crispy crust, just like bake it for like 10 minutes on the little like tray, and then take it off the tray and just cook it directly on the rack for the last 10 minutes. We tried that, and it was a little crispier, but like, I don't know, man. Papa Murphy's just does not do it for me.
Well, that's part of the Halloween tradition at my family's house. We also have a full-size Yoda statue. Again, previous episode, we talked about games, and my dad got that Xbox from work.
Mm-hmm.
He also got this Yoda statue. It was a promotional, like, Phantom Menace thing. But anyway, full-size Yoda statue, and that's our candy bowl. So it's at his feet, so the kids have to come into the house a little bit and pick candy from a bowl at Yoda's feet.
Oh, you guys don't hand out, you just do bowls?
We hand it out, but we
You make
so
them
like
work for
we,
it.
well, we're at the door, right?
Okay.
And so they knock on the door, trick or treat. The door opens, like, oh yeah, go get a piece of candy from Yoda, and so they get a piece of candy from Yoda. It's supervised. It's a
Okay.
supervised bowl.
Backtracking really quick. We don't do a Papa Murphy's pizza for Halloween, but my family did do a Papa Murphy's pizza for Valentine's Day every year because Papa Murphy's has
heart-shaped ones?
yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I do.
My family would do that because my parents would go on a date and then that would be with the dinner they would leave for us at home. That's totally sidetracked, but I just remembered
okay.
that and I was like, I guess both our families did a Papa Murphy's holiday.
I've just got 2 more traditions to go through real quick. My grandparents would usually come, and they'd give us a little bag of candy. And they'd be there just to hang out for a couple hours, enjoy some pizza. And then the other one, there was this guy in the neighborhood who has really fallen from grace. Crazy story there, but his house used to be super decorated and intricate. He had like a path with animatronics that led to his backyard, and he would give everyone scones. And yeah, like it was a whole
good.
thing. Everyone in the neighborhood, like even the adults, would go over there to his house because it was also his birthday. So for his birthday celebration, he would put on this whole elaborate Halloween walk and with scones and hot chocolate at the end. Really cool of him. So that's part of that is one of the traditions.
There was a guy near my neighborhood who would do hot chocolate and hot dogs, I think, on Halloween.
Such a weird combination. What the heck?
I can't remember. It was the rich guy. You know the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mr. Loveland.
Oh.
So I don't know if it was all, but it was like catered. It was like J-Dogs, hot dogs.
Okay. That's a little. I was just picturing.
And maybe it was
like,
apple cider instead of hot chocolate. I can't remember. They would switch it up year from year, but his house was always the place to go. I mean, he owns an aquarium, so
yeah, that checks out.
He's got money for Halloween stuff, but it's interesting. I don't think my family has a lot of Halloween traditions that are unique to my family. I think we mostly it's just all the traditions outside of it. And you know, this would have been a really good episode, and I feel kind of bad about it now. This would have been a really good episode to bring my wife on as a guest star or a co-host because she is obsessed with Halloween. It is her favorite holiday of all time. She goes crazy for Halloween. I'm sure she's got a lot of traditions in her family she could tell us about. Christmas isn't even in her top 3 favorite holidays.
What?
I'm still upset about this. Yeah,
Bro.
get this. Halloween number 1, 4th of July number 2,
4th of July.
St. Patrick's Day
What
number
the
3.
crap? St. Patrick's Day is in her top 3?
I was so upset we were talking about
what
this.
the crap?
She's like, well, it's fun. Like, we eat corned beef and hash. And I was like, yeah, for one day. And I don't
That's
even like
it.
corned beef. Like,
Dude, Christmas is an entire season,
I
man.
know. I was like, how could you like it? I was like, you're not even Irish. And we don't even drink. So it's not like we go to a bar and like, it's like half of the significance of St. Patrick's Day is like,
You're not even Catholic either.
well, do you remember what we did for St. Patrick's Day last year?
No.
We invited you guys over and we had that corned beef and hash.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was good.
Didn't we watch Everything Everywhere All at Once? Or was that a different thing?
It might have been a different one, but I do remember the corned beef hash. I just did not associate it with St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, that's what we did for St. Patrick's Day last year. And it's like, I think that speaks for itself. You can remember what you did last Christmas. You can remember what you did last Halloween. I'll give you that. I can never remember what I did last St. Patrick's Day, except for this one because it was like the first one I've actually like done something in a while. But
Oh, man.
anyway,
Dude, you bring up a good point because Corinne, like her family, I think Halloween is a bigger deal for them than Christmas is. They go all out decorating their house. They like hollow out pumpkins and like dip full rolls of toilet paper in like kerosene or gasoline and light them on fire so they're flaming pumpkins. It's they go hard. It would have been really good to have her on for this as well.
We should have brought our wives on for this. Maybe we can do a bonus Halloween
bonus
episode.
Halloween. Yeah.
But I just think it's really funny that we've joked about this a lot. Like, I love how similar we are. Like, I feel like we're like dark dimension mirrors of each other, or maybe not even dark dimension. I feel like it's just like we're both digital media guys who grew up with very similar backgrounds. Our families are very similar in traditions and structure and parenting ways. And then our wives are also very similar in terms of what they're going into and background and family structure and
family expectations. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny. But I wanted to ask you this. I think this is a really interesting thing, and it's a fun story. What was the last Halloween you remember trick-or-treating?
Ooh, I remember trick or treat. I think I was 12.
Because this is an interesting. I love to see like when people stopped.
Yeah, I don't remember what I dressed up as, or it might have been 11 or 12. I know I stopped as a teenager because I thought, in my mind, the hierarchy was kids trick or treat, teenagers stay up late and just like, I don't know. In my mind as a kid, they ran around doing dumb things and pranks after the kids stopped trick-or-treating.
We do a lot of parties.
Yeah. And then adults would have Halloween parties or just give candy to kids or go trick-or-treating with their kids. So I thought as soon as I became a teenager and I'd start going to Halloween parties is when I'd stop trick-or-treating. And I think that was at 12 or 13 that I stopped.
You don't remember your last time trick-or-treating? You don't remember what your last costume was?
I do not. It was probably my mist cloak, to be honest.
Okay.
So
my last Halloween, I think I was 13. I think it was 7th grade, my first year of middle school. I remember it as being a controversial one because you're at that stage where it's like people expect you to kind of stop trick-or-treating, but also no parent is going to tell you can't trick-or-treat.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're like, you might be a little too old to be going. I remember half of our friend group went to this Halloween party, which was literally like a block away from my house, walking distance, and a block away from my friend Thomas' house, walking distance. And so there was no reason why we couldn't go. But me, Tama, and my friend Nolan, we all decided we were going to go trick-or-treating, and then our friends Kean and Dylan, they were like, no, we're going to go to this Halloween party. And I didn't care to go. There were no girls that I was like interested in going to see, and I know that's why Kean went, because there was someone there they had a crush on. But I remember it was this big controversial thing because we were trying to get everyone to go trick-or-treating with us, and it was like tension between like going to this party or going trick-or-treating, and the three of us ended up going trick-or-treating, and we went as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we went as S.H.I.E.L.D.
agents.
agents.
That's a good last one. A good transition.
All we did is we just wore suit, ties, and sunglasses, and our bit was that we would just knock on doors and just stand there in silence when they would open the door. Like, we wouldn't say trick or treat. We would just hold out candy, and if they asked any questions, we would take turns just saying, like, that's classified.
That's good.
But that was the last one I remember doing, and it's one of those sad things because, like, it's free candy. Like, I would love to go trick-or-treating this year if I could. Like, have you seen that bit from Regular Show where Mordecai's got, like, the three little, like, ghosts with bowls, and he's like, he like presses a button, they're like, trick or treat, and they're like, gives candy, he's like, what do we say, kids? He presses the button, they just go trick or treat, trick or treat, and they like start spitting out, and he like runs away, and they're all like attached to him with a rope.
Oh man, regular show is so good.
Like, oh
That
my
does
gosh.
remind me, like parents that would dress up to go with their
Oh,
kids.
I would. I would if I went with
Yeah,
my kid, but
I think I would too.
it's I know, it's just so sad. Like it's that's definitely one of those like nostalgic childhood things. And a lot of holidays too. Christmas and most of them, like I feel like they lose. They kind of like flip-flop. I feel like the ones you care about less when you're a kid and the ones you care about more, they kind of like they get better in different ways. Like 4th of July, I feel like I have more fun on 4th of July now than I did when I was a kid. But like Halloween and Christmas, it's just, it's different now. And so it's like when I talk to Katie and I'm like, I'm not like huge into Halloween anymore. I just feel like it's just because I've kind of like grew out of it a little bit. But I definitely miss trick or treating and I miss counting out candy. That was always what my siblings would do. We would try to see who got the most candy. And
Oh, I would sort candy. I wouldn't like
oh yeah,
count
no.
out how much I had. I'd sort them into categories.
Do you remember when we were in Sao Paulo and we had those cards that had the like $7 worth of vending machine credit every day?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you could use it every day, but if you didn't, it would reset. And the points
Yes,
didn't
so
carry over, so you had to
it
use it
was
every day.
you incentivized to do it every day. I have the picture of you opening the drawer with all
Mhm.
the candy. Yeah.
Yeah, because well, I realized I was like, I don't want something from the vending machine every single day. But then I was like, but if I don't use it, I'm gonna waste it. So I just started getting candy bars, and by the end of my time in the locale, I had that whole drawer just full of candy. And that's probably the closest I've gotten to Halloween since I was a kid.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a glass pumpkin shaped candy bowl. I bought it like 2 years ago because that's something that my mom always did in October. She would fill a this glass pumpkin with like just Halloween candy that you could snack
hmm
on throughout the October. So we have one of those, and I guess that's kind of close to Halloween.
That's what's crazy about being an adult is you can go to the store and buy one of those giant. You about to hold it up?
I mean, I've got
No.
this. I have a couple bags of candy.
I'm talking about like those big ones that are full with like all the candy bars. Like
Yeah,
you can just go and buy one of those for I don't know how much it is. I'm
You
gonna
can
say
buy them at any time of year if
you
you wanted
can.
to.
I want to say they're like $10 a bag, but that might be
The small ones are, yeah.
yeah. That's crazy. Like the amount you're getting. It's like the same thing as like as an adult, I can go to the store anytime I want and just buy a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Just take it home and eat it. And it's like I don't do stuff like that ever
But you could.
as an adult. But probably the I was with my friend Kevin the other week. We were watching a TV show, and that's that show The Bear, and it's a cooking
Still haven't
show.
watched it, but it's on my list.
You gotta watch it. But we were getting hungry, and I was like, what if we just DoorDash like pizza rolls? And we like did it, and it was cheap too, because they've got like this thing called Dash Mart here in Salt Lake, where it's just like a big grocery store warehouse like owned by DoorDash, and so you can just order like groceries and stuff. And so we ordered like 4 boxes of pizza rolls and like 2 like Arizona watermelon things for like $12. Like I think it was 15 in all when I paid for like delivery. And I was like, okay, that's a steal. So we did it, and then they took it to the wrong house, and so I called in like I requested an error, and I just said just deliver it again. And then we were sitting there, and I was like, maybe we can find this house. So we just went walking out in the streets, and we found my order on the doorstep, and so we ended up with 8 boxes of
Nice.
pizza rolls. Man,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
even
kind of
like pizza
crazy.
rolls that
Like
much.
the fancy, like the special things as a kid are just things you can do as an adult because you
And
have.
they're not even smart things to do. Like the special
No.
things are like, why would I ever buy a chocolate cake for myself? It's like kid me would throttle me if he heard me say that.
Ah. All right. Well, speaking of like going to the store, I worked at a grocery store for a very long time, for like 7.5 years. And they let you dress up for Halloween and a couple other holidays there. And I would usually dress up in a Santa hat, and that's about it for Halloween. And spiritual successor to that is the Christmas sweater I'm wearing now. But the reason I do that is, one, shoppers would be aghast that, stores are putting Christmas stuff up like during Halloween. So one of them was to scare customers. And then as someone who worked in retail, the holiday season is very scary and stressful. So I would scare the store associates by wearing Christmas stuff at Halloween.
Oh, man. I think last year at my job, that's crazy that I started working at my optometrist's office a year ago. Same with the media production agency. It feels like it was not that long ago, but I started in October, and we wore, because the company I worked for, they had like this corporate-wide Halloween costume contest. And the winning store got some prize. I can't remember what it was, but our manager got us cow onesies. And our optometrist was supposed to come dressed as a farmer, and he didn't. So we were all just wearing cow onesies, and I was an idiot because all my coworkers showed up wearing sweatpants and t-shirts, and then they would just put the cow onesie over it, and I was like, I'm actually an idiot, because guess what I was wearing under the cow onesie?
Just the cow onesie, or what? Jeans?
Just completely naked. No. I was wearing like the complete opposite of that. I was wearing a button-up shirt,
dude,
a belt, dress pants, and like church shoes. And I was like, and I got there, and they're all like, "Why did you wear that if you're just gonna wear a cow onesie?" And I was like, I don't know. And then I went home for lunch. During my lunch break, I drove home.
And you didn't change?
And I didn't change, and I came back, and they were like, "Why did you change?" And I was like, "Why didn't I?" Yeah.
Oh, man, dude. What the heck?
I know. So, yeah, that's my memory from last year.
All right. We're running out of time. I wanted to talk about like pumpkin patches and corn mazes, but we're running low.
I love fall activities like pumpkin patches, corn mazes, taking drive through the canyon to see the fall leaves is so much fun. You know that corn maze translates to corn?
I mean, if you spell it that way, sure.
It does.
That's fun. Are you a haunted house guy, Aidan?
So I went to so I am not like a scary stuff guy at all.
Me neither.
I hate scary stuff. I went to my first haunted house ever. In the 23 years I've been here. 23 and a half years. Well, actually, no, I was 22 when I went, because it was last year. I'd never gone to a haunted house ever. The closest I had done is I went to the Cornbellies, like haunted house things they have, but during the day when there's no actors or anything in it, and it's like a clown maze, but it's really just like a maze with like some like blood on the floor and like chains hanging, but there's no like clowns or anything hiding in there to jump out at you like they have at night. So I went to my first haunted house last year, and I was like, oh, I guess my preconception about scary stuff and thinking that I'm not able to handle it was entirely based off of ideas I had formulated when I was a child. And I had never pushed myself against those borders again, because I went to the haunted house and I was like, oh, this isn't scary at all, actually. It was cool. There was like a part of it where there was like fog like halfway through, and they had this light shining through, so it looked like you were walking through like acid up to like your torso. And I was like, this is sick. And at the very end, you're like walking through a blinding white light, and you like leave the haunted house, and it's like fog and it's ethereal. So it was cool. So I think that haunted houses and stuff, don't really scare me as much anymore. I still don't like doing them. I'm not at horror movies yet, though. Those do kind of make me nervous and uneasy. I don't like watching them.
Yeah, I am not a horror fan either. In my college, Weber State, they would make a lot, like their big studio productions, they'd pretty much always be horror. And I thought it was so dumb. You have all these resources and people ready to make something, and you decide to make some not good horror.
There's a reason why so many indie directors do horror. It is one of the easiest and cheapest movies you can shoot for, depending on how you do it.
Yeah.
But what about
well, about me, what? About horror movies? I don't like them.
Movies.
Haunted houses. I think I'm in the same boat as you. I did not like scary stuff as a kid, and I don't really like it now, and so I never did haunted houses. I am sure that I would be okay with it now, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's just some 16-year-old in a mask. What the heck? I'd probably be okay with it now, but also I think there are so many other things I'd like to do with my time that I would just rather do. I think Corinne would want to go to a haunted house.
Katie loves that stuff. She wants to watch a scary movie and go to a haunted house this season.
No, we should just have them do a girls' night, and they can do that. We'll play Enter the Gungeon.
Oh yeah,
sounds like a blast.
That does sound like a blast to me, actually.
Speaking of them, our wives, we really should do another episode with them.
I know. I think regardless of what we do a podcast, I think we just need to hang out before Halloween. And I would raise you and say, bring over the garden wall. Let's watch it.
Corinne doesn't like it anymore.
What?
Yeah. I think so. Her dad is like anti rewatching movies, and she has a little bit of that. And so I've watched Over the Garden Wall every year for the last 2 years, and she's been with me for both of those. And so she really doesn't want to watch Over the Garden Wall this year.
Katie doesn't love Over the Garden Wall, but she likes how fall core it is, so I think she's willing to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think Corinne would be down, but I can ask. We would probably need to watch or do something else, unfortunately.
It's fine. Well, we'll talk about it later. But I think that's all we have to say about Halloween. It's a fun time. It's a fun holiday. I enjoy it.
It is pronounced Halloween, not Halloween.
Did I say
freaking
Halloween?
California. Yeah. No. I'm just bringing. It was something on my mind. People from California, and so as a result, most of what you see on TV and Disney Channel, they pronounce it Halloween instead of Halloween. Don't know if you've ever noticed that, but
oh yeah, it's because it's hallowed.
Yeah, it's not hollow, it's hallow.
That's
anyway.
A really good point, because the words hollowed and hallowed are completely different meanings.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Media Vending Podcast. If you enjoyed what you listened to, you can follow us on Spotify or subscribe to us on YouTube. Aidan, you have anything else to say before we sign off?
Happy spooky season.
Ooh. Bye.